Are you ready for Valentine's Day? Want to make a super yummy steak for Bae? Well, Mason and I have a delicious reverse seared ribeye steak recipe just for you. Girl, just make your steak the Lisa D way and you're guaranteed a bomb Valentine's Day. Oh my God, why are you so corny? Reverse sear is my favorite way to cook steak because by doing it this way you get like this tender, perfectly cooked steak with a crisp crust every single time. And how we do it is we're going to start in a low oven and then we're going to sear it in a very hot frying pan. The reason this method works so well is because it gives us better control. By starting at a low temperature in the oven, it slows everything down, buys us more time, and our margin of error is a lot lower. But anyway, whenever you're cooking meat, you should always bring it to room temperature first. You don't want to start out cooking cold meat because it won't cook evenly. Oh, and this method really doesn't work on thin steaks. Your steak needs to be 1.5 inches thick in order for this method to really work. I didn't pay your mortgage this month, so I can't tell you what to do, but I cleaned my steak, and then you want to pat it dry really well. Getting all that moisture off is very important. And then you want to season both sides with a good amount of salt and pepper. It's a big piece of meat, so we need a good amount of seasoning on it. And y'all know Lisa D, I always have my secret ingredient. I like to put a little allspice on my steak. Allspice gives it this nice aromatic flavor, and it kind of brings out the flavor of the beef even more. It has people saying, what's that in the back? But just a pinch. Do not put a lot. Don't have your steak tasting like pumpkin pie, and then you go tell them Lisa D told you to do it. No, 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 I did not. Also put a little onion powder and garlic powder and press the seasoning down into the steak. Your shopping list and measurements are down in the description box below. So go ahead and preheat your oven to 250. I'm probably the only one in the world that likes my steaks medium well, closer to well. I don't know. Personally, me, eating raw meat, it doesn't sit well with me. Which is another reason I really love this method, because my steaks still come out juicy, but they're done. But you're grown, so here's a chart so you can make yours raw. I mean, how you like it. I kid, I joke. So for me, for medium well, my target temperature inside the oven is gonna be 135. The targeted in oven temperatures are slightly lowered because it's gonna continue to cook a little when we pull it out the oven. And you always want to place your food in the back of your oven because it's warmer back there as opposed to the front where the door is opening and shutting. While that's in the oven, let's work on this yummy bacon butter. But before we do that, please hit the subscribe button and the like button for your girl, and turn on the notifications so you don't miss any of this yumminess. I promise it won't hurt your finger or your wallet. So I make my own homemade garlic butter, sometimes compound butter, because it adds so much flavor to so many different dishes. I'll put the recipe for the homemade garlic butter above, but all you have to do is get you some room temperature salted butter and put some fresh crushed garlic in it and some scallions and some parsley, fresh parsley. Then cook you a couple of slices of bacon, chop it up and add it to the garlic butter. Time to take its temperature. I'm at 135, so it's time to sear it. Put a cast iron pan on high heat. Let it get really, really hot before you add in your avocado oil. Place the steak in the pan away from you and press down on it to get that surface contact. So the goal here is to preserve that perfect doneness in the center of the steak. So we want to get the sear on it as quickly as possible. I do 2 minutes on each side, but you can do 60 to 90 seconds if you like. Look at that crustification. That's what we want. I had to go ahead and score the fat cap. I should have did it beforehand. That way the steak will lay flatly in the pan. Then go ahead and add you some garlic butter to the pan, along with a stem of rosemary, but ruffle the rosemary leaves a little bit to release the aromatic flavors of it. Then add in 1 clove of garlic. Girl, the steak comes out so good when you cook it like this. This method was invented by some chef who was trying to come up with a similar method to cooking steak, similar to the sous vide method. Because when you make steak sous vide, they would come out so even and so tender. So he wanted to find an easier way to do it, and he came up with this. Thank you, chef. So tilt the pan towards you and go ahead and flick up some of that yummy, buttery, garlicky, aromatic-y flavors up on top of the steak, like so. You'll also be flicking up some of the fond from the bottom of the pan. This ribeye steak will go so good with these lobster tails that I made, with the yummy garlic and herb butter, and also another secret ingredient that I have for lobster. And also I use my secret cooking technique for a perfect juicy lobster tail every time. I'll put that recipe above. I didn't do it here, but you should also sear off your fat cap. When it's done, it'll look like this. Look at God. Won't he do it? Yes, he will. Thank you, Father God, for always feeding us and always blessing us. Girl, I'm telling you, make your ribeye steak like this. You'll impress Bae and have an amazing Valentine's Day. All you have to do next is just make those lobster tails I told you about, bake you a potato, and then make some asparagus wrapped in bacon. Oh, you don't know how to make the asparagus? Girl, I'll show you. Recipe above. You're welcome. Did you see the juiciness of this steak? Child, you gotta try your steak this reverse seared way. It was so delicious. But don't take my word for it. Let's see what the Chief Tasting Officer, Mace, has to say. Mace, oh Mace, you just can't get good help these days. Where is my lazy employee? Oh, there you are. You ready to work? You want to taste the steak? Does it have your approval? Did you like the steak? You give it your approval? It's a yes? Say happy Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day.